You know exactly what needs to be done. You've done it before. You know how to do it, but every time you sit down to start, something stops you. You check your email, you reorganize your desk, you suddenly remember something else that feels more urgent, and the task you came here to do just sits there, waiting. It's not that you don't know how, it's not that you don't have time, and it's definitely not that you don't care. You're not avoiding it because you're lazy. You're avoiding it because your brain has decided this task is a threat. Most people think avoidance is about difficulty. If you're putting something off, it must be too hard, or too boring, or too overwhelming. The solution, they say, is to just push through. Just start. Just do it. But avoidance doesn't work that way. It's not always about the task itself. Sometimes it's about what the task represents. Your brain is constantly scanning for threats, not just physical danger, emotional danger too, the threat of failure, the threat of judgment, the threat of disappointment. And when a task carries one of those threats, your brain tries to protect you, not by helping you prepare, but by helping you avoid. Research shows that avoidance is often a response to anxiety, not incompetence. Your brain isn't protecting you from the work. It's protecting you from the feeling the work might create. Here's what's actually happening. You sit down to write an email. It's a simple email. You know what to say. But the person you're writing to matters. Their opinion matters, and suddenly the email isn't simple anymore. It's a test, a performance, a chance to get it wrong. Your brain registers that, and instead of helping you write, it tries to delay the moment when you might feel judged. So you avoid, not because you can't do it, but because doing it means facing the possibility that it won't be good enough. The same thing happens with phone calls. You know what you need to say. You've had harder conversations before, but this one matters. And that mattering is what makes it unbearable. Your brain isn't being difficult, it's being protective. It's trying to keep you safe from a feeling it thinks you can't handle. And here's what makes it worse. The longer you avoid, the bigger the task becomes in your mind. What started as a simple email is now a source of guilt, a reminder of your failure, a thing you should have done days ago. Now it's not just a task, it's the shame of having avoided it, and that shame makes it even harder to start. This is why to-do lists don't help with avoidance. The task is already on the list. You already know it needs to be done. Writing it down again doesn't change the feeling attached to it. Here's what it looks like in real life. You need to send a message to someone. It's been sitting in your mind for days. You tell yourself you'll do it after lunch. Then after this meeting. Then tomorrow. Each time you delay, you feel worse. But you still don't do it. Because the feeling of avoiding it is easier to tolerate than the feeling of doing it and being disappointed with the result. Or you have a project you're qualified to complete. You've done similar work before. But this one feels different. This one matters more, and that weight is what keeps you frozen. You're not incapable. You're just overwhelmed by the gap between what you want it to be and what you're afraid it will be. Now, here's the uncomfortable part. You can't think your way out of avoidance. You can't logic yourself into feeling safe. And you definitely can't shame yourself into action. Because avoidance isn't a rational decision. It's an emotional one. Your brain has labeled this task as dangerous. And until it feels safe, it will keep finding ways to protect you from it. That protection looks like distraction. It looks like procrastination. It looks like suddenly caring very deeply about tasks that didn't matter 5 minutes ago. But it's not sabotage. It's survival. Your brain genuinely believes it's helping you by keeping you away from something that might hurt. Studies suggest that the tasks people avoid most aren't the hardest ones. They're the ones tied to identity, to self-worth, to how they see themselves or how they want others to see them. You don't avoid filing paperwork because it's hard. You avoid the conversation because it might reveal something about you that you're not ready to face. This doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you lack discipline or motivation. And it definitely doesn't mean you're not capable of doing the thing you're avoiding. It just means your brain is trying to protect you from a feeling, and it's doing that the only way it knows how, by keeping you away from the source. You avoid tasks you know how to do not because you're incompetent, but because knowing how to do something doesn't make it emotionally safe, and your brain will always choose safety over productivity. That's not failure. That's not weakness. That's just your nervous system doing what it was designed to do, protect you from pain, even when the pain is imaginary. Even when avoiding it creates more suffering than facing it ever would.